Okay, so let's talk about the external stakeholders. In
Okay.
marketing, there are a lot of external stakeholders. You'll have digital marketing agencies, you'll have your influencer campaigns, then even PR is there. You have to be in touch with journalists for that. So in that, you can like kind of share that how they should go about the process with the external stakeholder.
Got it. So again, we'll start one by one. We'll start with like digital marketers or like an agency per
Agency,
se.
yeah.
So these individuals, or rather like these agencies, have tremendous amount of knowledge because they have worked with other clients that are similar to you in the same space. So
Yes,
it's
yes.
kind of like a repeat cohort process for them.
Yeah.
So their insights come from very, very hands-on work. They have done something similar and they can tell you what has actually worked for someone and what hasn't. So in that sense, I think they can provide a lot of value. Digital agencies can, like digital marketing agencies can support you in terms of tasks that are not really, are not very dynamic. Like SEO, SEO is extremely tedious, so they can
Yeah.
just help. They can give you support who can like help you with stuff like that. If there's analysis that needs to be done on a post analysis on your campaigns, if you need to see whether your campaign worked or not, they can help you define those objectives, they can help you define your CTA, and towards the end they can give you those numbers and they can kind of simplify the result for you and explain it to the marketing team that this was your campaign, and if your target goal for the campaign was getting maximum number of clicks, so these are a number of clicks. They can also provide you solutions on how you can improve. So it's they can give you a very detailed breakdown, and
That's right.
they can structure the process a lot for you. Is what my opinion.
Other people like say influencers and all, like how do you create a system where you're optimizing resources of these influencers, all different category of micro, macro, even celebrity level influencers.
Right. So, influencer management in general, I feel is going to be a new market. I'm very excited to see what product people come up with to optimize influencer management, because as of now, the only place to find influencers is probably like social apps, Instagram, YouTube. If you're a if you're a gaming startup, then maybe streaming platforms like Twitch and stuff like that. But I've not seen a product that caters to I've not seen a product that like lists down influencers and talks about what their background is, how they can help your brand and stuff like that. So I think that's a huge gap in the market, and I'm very excited to see what products people can build around that.
That's right.
And how a brand can collaborate with influencers is, of course, like you align.
Little bit
your-
different, like in terms of we'll talk about more in collaboration, identifying the right guys, because it's just beyond the numbers. When
Right.
you interact with the person, he'll be the right person for your brand, and then setting up a work process so that it is kind of that association is then turns up into monetization. So you are using like that trust, that loyalty of his particular audience, and the channel translates into sales for your product.
Definitely. And another thing worth noting is with influencers, as per my knowledge, I've never really seen any contracts, binding agreements. So establishing that trust and goodwill factor is so important, because let's take an example. Let's say there's a beauty and fitness blogger, and you're a brand who maybe sells like protein shake, and you ask an influencer to advocate that for you. They'll do that. But what if the next day they also advocate the same for your competitor? Then how do you establish that kind of trust? So I think that's something off paper that brands need to figure out to establish with influencers. Some
I
deals.
think we've gone beyond that, because if you see now in that space, like your competitor is also hiring the same influencer, even the
Right.
brand ambassador, which is a celebrity, is going to a certain event which will be sponsored by that. So it's kind of getting in a space where you don't even have an ambassador. It's like just on a project, like he's promoting this particular thing.
Right.
Because it's becoming hard to kind of plus people, I'm not sure they are even caring on that. Okay, if there is a particular my celebrity, this thing is uh, obviously direct competitor would not work, but even indirectly is promoting, like so.
Right.
A particular movie star is promoting a particular soft drink, and also like an aerated drink, and then a juice. So it's in
Right.
maybe a similar space, but it's being kind of done, and it's kind of, yeah, that is what is happening. It's a little bit getting difficult to monitor that particular thing.
I get it, yeah. So I think because influencer marketing is so new, I think it has only boomed after COVID.
Yeah.
The whole digital era, in fact, came into being. Influencer as a full-time job is something that COVID has facilitated because,
Yeah.
when people were just stuck in their homes and literally the only access they had to the world was digitally. So I think that industry is very new, and all of us are just like figuring it out. So I think these are very interesting pain points that, again, like I said, there's a lot of room for people to make products that take care of all of these pain points. So it'll be
That's
exciting
right.
to see what people make.
Yeah, the basics, like as marketers, what we follow is obviously the traffic that you get. So when you do a campaign, what is the traffic you're getting from particular influencers channel to your site? That obviously you should properly track. And then obviously the promo code thing is a direct correlation, which
Right.
is kind of in the beauty space is expected that a particular influencer will get you the sale. And that's a good thing in, say, the micro level influencers is they will get you the direct sales compared to which we are seeing to the celebrity.
Right.
Maybe you get a more reach there, but then is that reach really, valuable in terms of, does it convert? That is also a question to
Right.
ask.
What is the return on investment is a very important question to
That's
ask.
right.
So, and it's celebrity influencers are like crazy expensive. So, at the end of the day, you need to figure out how many of like what percentage of their audience has actually turned into a customer. Number one. Number two, how many of those customers will buy your product again? So, these are the metrics that brands need to identify and
Yeah, you
align.
track. So you track that from this particular influencer, this customer has come, and then obviously you can do an analysis that what is maybe a lifetime value over a period of a year.
Right.
What are you getting from that particular?
Definitely.
You can get deeper into it. Then it's just not that one sale, but that particular customer who is then purchased that one product, which obviously on e-commerce you can track those things, and then like over a period of year how much you are getting from that particular customer.
Right, definitely.
That's right. Other stakeholders, like say you have your PR activities. So in that we'll maybe discuss a bit in terms of you being written about online and events as well.
Got it. Okay. So let's talk about content that's written online, PR in terms of like publications, magazines.
Advertorial, you'll have
Yeah.
guest blog, those kind of things.
Right. So, in my experience, what I've noticed is that PR efforts are kind of short-handed. People don't use it unless it's absolutely necessary. PR is only used it's not used as a frequent marketing
Yeah.
effort. Rather, people only use PR when they have big announcements, product launch. They'll
Yeah.
do like they'll opt for some sort of media publication to talk about it, or if a startup has like fundraised and stuff like that, then they'll resort to those things. But on like a day-to-day basis, it's something that doesn't really happen because again, PR agencies are super expensive. And if I had to talk about like public relations in general, what the brand can do for itself is have its employees kind of stay in touch and basically like work on the PR kind of like themselves. Again, the personal brand building kind of comes into play here.
That's
seen
why you get like newsworthy, maybe yourself, like where
Right.
it's not paid. It's something which is quite interesting. With these guys will pick up
Right,
because
definitely.
it's competitive among them also. No? There's an interesting some campaign that is there that create like a lot of these. Virgin company had created a lot of campaigns which were so out there that became like mainstream news. Like the one, I think the guy with the jetpack who had gone, it was like there's a flying man spotted,
Right,
and
yeah.
also those kind of things. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting where somewhere or the other, but I know the big companies, they even have these parties, events where they will call the journalists and all that.
Definitely, yeah.
That creates that because obviously the top journalists, the trusted ones, they have a huge influence. There's no doubt about it.
They do, definitely, and they also resort to like more traditional publication, like newspapers. They have the budget to like have the newspaper cover their whole front page with their product. So they kind of have the finances to make that happen. So I've only seen big organizations resort to like this sort of PR. But on a smaller scale,
on a smaller scale, I think it correlate to your TG, which particular sites are there, which are getting traction. Like for example, like say have a marketing software, and I will go to AFAX.
Right.
AFAX because all marketing professionals go there. So somewhere or there, if I'm written about there, I know I'm going to get that my core audience there, and they are all their attention. So that is also where they are different. Like your story is for entrepreneurs, so any
Right.
kind of SaaS product and all will get a lot of traction there in terms
Makes
of
sense,
ads
yeah.
and all. Yeah.
Even like online digital publications these days kind of have like I don't know if specialization is the right word to use, but there's a certain kind of content that they cover,
That's
and
it.
it's very important to identify if that sort of like PR body fits in with your product and your requirements.